What's going on, everybody? I appreciate those of you that were hanging out waiting for the live stream to start. For those of you coming by, catching the replay, checking it out for the first time, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. So if you like what you see, you want to take part in the live chats next time, you'll be able to. So obviously, we'll wait till around the 10-minute mark, give everybody that wants to be here to hear my thoughts and opinions on this. A little bit of time. We have an official carded sample from Creed of Absolu Aventus. We are going to spend time with, have not sniffed it. Total first impressions. I've looked at the notes one time. I believe there's ginger and blackcurrant, like a lot of a combination of the two, I think, if I remember correctly, between Aventus and Aventus Cologne, like kind of elements of both. As far as the note breakdown, I remember a few things about it. I don't remember completely, but I mean, obviously I don't know what it smells like. So we'll be checking that out in a little bit. We know it's a retail of $4.99 USD, so it's very, very pricey. So we got to see, is it even worth entertaining, right? But for the time being, what is worth entertaining is Polo Blue Parfum, my favorite version of Polo Blue. Love this stuff. Been a little while since I wore it. It was nice to spray it on. Wife enjoys it. I enjoy it. I think it's one of the best blue fragrances out there. Typically, the Parfum flankers are usually my favorites, a la Sauvage Parfum, Bleu de Chanel Parfum, and so on. I typically like the Parfum flankers with these designer lines, but mostly the blue fragrances in particular. Get a nice little spritz. Why the hell not? Good stuff. If you're looking for a performance monster, you're not going to get it. It lasts a pretty long time, but it sits pretty close to the skin for the most part. It's a less is more kind of fragrance. Great for professional settings. This is one you can dress up if you like the mass feeling stuff. And so on. So let me get caught up in the chat, see who's wearing what, and so on. Adam, always in a race to be the first here. Good to see you, my man. Ooh, custody battles, never good things. Wearing Comra, though, definitely wearing something nice and strong. Hat of the day, here we go. Now we're talking. Probably a Rangers hat. Okay. Decisions, hit that like. Well, I appreciate you, my man. Thank you. Scott is wearing Tonka Cola, one of my favorite Mancera's. Kyle is in the house. Definitely had a good weekend. I hope you did as well. Make sure to hit that like button. Thank you for letting them know. Kyle and Noah's in the house. Just got back from filming some fragrance content for a YouTube channel I had to make for class. About to educate some fellow classmates on everything fragrance. Scent of the Day Victory Elixir. I'm glad you're enjoying that bottle that you won, my man. I'm glad you're getting a lot of use out of it. Great to see you as always. Bravito Delicacia from Argos. Ooh, stepping out strong today. I'm sure that's a matter of time, sooner than later kind of thing. Just as Jason's in the chat, I believe he said something about that as well. Yeah, so good to see you, Jason. Wearing Fragrance du Bois. Ooh, Blue Intense. Never tried it. Lizzie's in the house. Good to see you, Lizzie. Glad you're able to make it for at least for a little while. It's not every day we get to have you come hang out with us in the chat. So clearly you're wanting to know what's going on here too. So I appreciate you, Lily. Good to see you. Bois 1920 Verde de Mer, I believe is how you say that. Paul, good to see you. Joel, always a pleasure. Michael West, how's everything going today? Wearing Sedley. Okay. I can't complain. It's been a good day so far. Do a rock star for the fuzz mans in the house. Tequila Noir. Never tried that one, Kevin. Alhambra's exclusive tobacco, Carolina Herrera mystery tobacco clone twist. I can't do that leather smell. Talking about that somewhat leathery accord that certain batches of Aventus have. Is that what you're referring to? The unaverage one has graced us with his presence, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you, Joe. Gris Charnel X-Straight. I've only tried the EDP. You were in the room when I tried it. That was at for the Triple X stuff we did in Chicago for Royale Triple X. That was in Mark and Carla's room. They had brought the EDP. Shout out to Mark and Carla. Excited to hear what you think about Aventus. I'm excited to find out what's going on here. I wasn't sure how soon or when I was going to get to try it. My fear is that I'm going to love it and want a bottle. I'm not going to want to just get a clone. Like I'll want the clones later, but I want the original too. I always like to have the originals most of the time. But I mean, obviously this is something that's going to get cloned. It's a version of Aventus. Not too bad, DJ. Not too bad. Chrome Pure White. Chrome Pure, the white bottle, I think is what he meant. Sauvage EDT for Adolfo. Randy's in the house wearing S-Boy today. No matter what people say, it smells good. Price is crazy, but smells good. That's the simplest way to put it. It does smell really good. It's just overpriced for what it is. It's a glorified designer fragrance commanding luxury niche prices. It does smell good. I totally agree with you. It's just not worth what the value is individualistic. Everybody's got a different value for everything. Somebody will smell that and say, "Oh, I would have paid $400 for this." I think they're crazy, but to each their own. And then there's others that would say, "I wouldn't pay more than 50 for this." So, like I said, value is an individualistic perception that each person puts on it. I would say if that was a low $100 price point before any discounts, I don't think you'd hear too many people griping about it as much, but being priced over 200 retail before discounts, I think is part of the flack. But I mean, it seems to sell pretty well, and most people enjoy it that do get it for the most part. So it's solid. It's just I don't think it's as good as advertised, but it's solid. Definitely smells good. I agree, Randy. Invictus Intense. Boy, you never hear anybody name drop Invictus Intense. Basically, Invictus plus a whiskey note. It is good stuff. Eternal Oud, smelling like a woodsy Grand Soir. So we got a few more minutes and we'll go ahead and get started. We're right around the 10-minute mark. Give everybody a chance. While everybody's getting in here, we got a little over 110 viewers right now currently with only 40 likes, guys. Real quick, as fast as you can blink your eyes, as fast as you can turn that thumbs up button into having been clicked. So do that for me real quick if you don't mind. We'll get it on November 1st. Have you smelled it yet? Have you smelled it yet? Overture Man. Whew, that's such a stunner. I wish my wife enjoyed it. I love that fragrance. My wife does not like it. Hey, all wearing Costume National Soul. Under the radar, Ropion creation. Okay. Terre d'Hermès Parfum. Underrated gem that is slept on. Justin seems to praise it. I think I'm going to get it this year. That might be one of my upcoming fragrance hauls. I did promise MG, I don't know if he's in here yet, that I was going to get Bulgari Pour Homme for him. I did promise him before year's out I'm going to get Bulgari Pour Homme finally. He's been asking me for a long time to get that one. He swears up and down I'm going to love it. So that's going to be an upcoming purchase too. Scott, good to see you. My Merchant of Venice. My bottle of Badia Oud Amethyst coming today, so that'll probably be my scent of the day. I also smell Toy Boy at Macy's. Very hard to not leave with it. You can get it cheaper online. It is good stuff, though, but you can get it $40-$50 online. Well, that's the thing. They're not marketing for everybody that shops at Dillard's. You know what I mean? They can charge whatever they want for these luxury fragrances. They're not marketing. That's like saying Raja Dove's lost his mind for having $2,000 fragrances. I understand the argument, but he's not marketing for people that wear polo blue to buy his fragrances. And I'm just calling a spade here, guys. They're not marketing to the masses. They're marketing to a higher level demographic that purchases luxury items because these are luxury items. Even this is a luxury item, even though it's a mid-level designer fragrance. It's not a necessity. It's a luxury. And then there's higher tiers to said luxury. And that's just what it is. You can't really get mad at the way people price things because you don't have to buy them. Everything we do is a choice. So keep that in mind. Can't believe Blue Parfum's hovering between $40 and $50 for a larger bottle online now. It's so good. I agree. I'm happy that the price dropped that because that'll entice more people to give it a shot. And then they'll complain about performance. It doesn't matter what fragrance. Bad Boy Extreme. Not bad. Giving it a 7 out of 10. Just got in Paris Corners. Rifaka. It smells amazing. That is a phenomenal fragrance. I need to throw that back in the rotation too. So today, Cool Water Intense. Looking forward to this one. We're about to get started. One more minute and we'll go ahead and jump into it. Let me skip down a little bit. Mike, good to see you. Alexandria, I'm assuming you meant 2. Do they have a third version? I don't know. Do they? I just don't know if they do. Polar Red Extreme for Gabe. Cristiano Ronaldo Game On. Smelling like basically a fruitier version of Stronger With You. It's good stuff. Raw Gold earlier, trying to decide. Fills pennant in a few hours. Okay. YSL Myself. I'm going to put that in the rotation this week. I got a lot of flack from people that love that fragrance because, okay, punctuation, guys. You always have to pay attention to punctuation. Even in that's why I even put the question mark in the thumbnail for the 2 words that are in the thumbnail. Disappointing designers, question mark, and in the title as well. It's like I'm asking the question because they were blind buys. Well, 3 of them weren't, but the main ones that are disappointments were complete blind buys. Punctuation will throw somebody off quick. If you act like it's not there, you'd be like, I can't believe you said. That's the kind of crap I deal with in comments. So yeah, pay attention to punctuation, guys. It makes a huge difference on what's being said in a title, in a thumbnail, because it wasn't a comment. It wasn't a statement. It was a question. And the video answers the question. Ha ha. See what paying attention will do. So we are at the 10.5-minute mark. Glad to have a little fun with you guys. I appreciate y'all being here. Let's jump into this. Good to see you, Lizzie. Wearing Star Walker at the gym. That's one of the better ones. Oh, Intense Vetiver later today. Twilly 2 cents is in the house. So, all right, I'm trying to get to a decent stopping point real quick. So I apologize. I'm skipping around a little bit, guys. I see you, Josh. So November 1st official release date. Skipping around. Wow, I was way behind. I apologize. The Jad has graced us with his presence all the way from the Middle East. Good to see you, Jad. Wearing Business Over Pleasure. I gave him my last bottle with 90 ml left, an almost full aftershave and candle. Wow. Damn. Gave him your last bottle. Damn, that's a bold move there, Jad, because I know you really enjoyed Business Over Pleasure, but I appreciate you. Glad to see you here, my man. So, wow, I was way behind. You guys are tearing it up in the chat, so that's good to see. E, good to see you. I'm all the way at the bottom. Funny you said that I posted Polo Blue Parfum as my scent the other day, and someone said it lasts 4 seconds. That's Jesus. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started. 152 in the chat, 84 in the likes. Hit that thumbs up for me, guys. So we'll cross-reference the notes in a little bit. I do have Polo Blue Parfum on my forearms, but it's not like it's some, it's not like I have red tobacco on my forearm, so it won't intrude with what's going on my hand. I put about 4 spritzes just now. Let's do one more for good measure, kind of really drench my hand. See the oil spot, so there's a lot of black currant here. It's juicy, and tart. A lot of black currant. Okay, so I got to say something right away. So some people I've been seeing, like Kareem, shout outs to Kareem, putting this whole comparison to Sauvage Elixir. That would mean that it's crazy warm and spicy. And this top blast is nothing of the sort. Now, I don't know if it's going to dry into being closer to a Sauvage Elixir, but this opening is super juicy, fruity. What the hell are people talking about? Because I haven't watched a bunch of content. I see Kareem's stuff on IG, because I'm trying to avoid content because I knew I was getting my nose on it. I do get that ginger smell that I've recalled a ginger note being in there, but it's not all that warm. There is a spice here, but I don't think it's warm really at all. It may warm up as it dries. Probably something ambery will come into play. It is super juicy and fruity, a little tart, a distinctive like black currant smell to it. I'm confident black currant's still in the formula. I'm sure that carried over from the other versions of Aventus. It's not super pineapple-y, but it's so juicy and fruity. I wouldn't be surprised if pineapple is in there. I would assume pineapple's still in it. This smells great. Does it smell $500 great? Not necessarily, but it does smell great. It's a black currant bomb. Without being super smoky, there's a smokiness, but not like a birch. And it could just be that dark fruity smell, but it doesn't have that birch smoky tone. Like I have a feeling birch isn't even in here, because it doesn't have that same Aventus smokiness. But it still manages to have that darker fruitiness. That's why I really think it's just loads of black currant here in the top. It's almost a little inky even, without being metallic. It's not metallic at all. And that ginger, it's like a crisp ginger. All right, let's I'm going to hope that the note breakdown here is pretty accurate, because Creed Boutique, they don't have it on their website yet. I do know that. So let's see. So people have rated it decently so far. Smoky. See, maybe as it dries, but it's I think that's a misnomer, because like not only Intense, the Afnan fragrance, people say that's super smoky, and that doesn't come in until you get into the oak moss more because it's a black currant bomb. Like I'm immediately reminded a bit of that because there's so much black currant. So grapefruit, bergamot, black currant. Yeah, it's clear as day. Juicy, fruity, no pineapple listed, but it does have a very, very juicy smell at the top. I can't get away from that word. It's very rich. I could see where people are coming from with the thought of a smoky nuance, but I mean, when you compare this to the birch of any batch of Aventus, even the ones that aren't all that smoky, it's clear that there's no birch here. And according to this note breakdown, there is not. Cinnamon, cardamom, cedarwood, ginger, patchouli, pink pepper, Haitian vetiver. So it should have a fresh woody nuance. Haitian vetiver tends to be pretty fresh and woodsy. It's spicy, but it's not overly spicy. Like I would honestly, I think Creed Viking's spicier than this. I think it's pretty well balanced. This might be bold to say right off the bat, but it's actually like, I think because of all that spice is why people are saying Sauvage Elixir. Like I get it now. Like it interrupted what I was about to say. The thought popped in my head. I get it now. It's just not warm, but the spice tie-in is definitely there. So I get that. This is like fresh fruity Sauvage Elixir is kind of how you could look at it. So I get it now. In the top, absolutely not. Now that heart's coming out with all these spices, I understand where Kareem, for example, he's my example. Shout out to Kareem. I understand where he's coming from now. But what I was going to say before that thought randomly popped in my head is this may be bold to say just within the first minute or two of smelling this, but this is the best smelling version. And I love the smokiness of Aventus. I love the pink pepper and the ginger of the cologne, and that's here. So you have the ginger with other spices. The pink pepper gives that light, sweet, aromatic feel. It's not really all that spicy from pink pepper because you have spices from other things here with a noticeable ginger-cinnamon combo. I don't distinctively smell cardamom, but I smell cinnamon and I smell ginger from the start. It is fresher, fruitier Sauvage Elixir. So there is clearly some redundancy here. So if you look at it there, like I would say because of the heart of this fragrance, it's probably like 60 to 70% similar. So that's going to probably be enough to turn people away from this and say, well, I'll just get Sauvage Elixir. The biggest thing, though, this is much more wearable because that's so nuclear, powerful, and warm that it makes it a bit more situational for the normal people, not crazy oversprayers that want to just knock people out with their fragrance. Those people, they're not going to care. But the people that are kind of a bit more respectful with those around them in their setting and kind of keep that in mind when they pick their fragrance. I apologize if anybody takes that as shade, but it's reality. Anybody that's a little bit more respectful of others with the fragrance they're going to choose for their setting, this is going to be more wearable because it's not overly ridiculously knock you out type of power, but it's rich and thick. So I bet the sillage on this one's going to be really, really good. Really, really good. The problem is going to be that $4.99 price point for 75 ml. The quality smells great, but it doesn't smell all that higher quality than like a Sauvage Elixir since we're making that comparison. Like I said before, for those of you just jumping in, I would put it in that realm of like 60 to 70% similar because the heart of this fragrance has all these similar spices because cinnamon and cardamom are two of the spices that, you know, really prominently feature in Sauvage Elixir. But that black currant, it's one of the stars of the show here. It's heavily featured. It's very prominent. But yeah, there's no denying the Sauvage Elixir tie-in. That's going to be a disappointment for a lot of people. Where I'm sitting right now, even though I think it's probably the most enjoyable of the three versions of Aventus. Just in the moment, it could just be I'm enjoying it that much right now. I'd probably still honestly take Aventus Cologne over this if we're, you know, being completely just transparent about the wearability, the situations, and just how I feel about Aventus Cologne overall. I don't know if I could ever see myself getting this because even from discounters, if this ends up not being, because I've heard things of limited run for this, but even if it's, let's say, mass produced, how affordable is it going to get over time, really? You know, $300, 300 and some change. So that does factor in for most people. I mean, that's very, very expensive, especially when there's an easily relatable fragrance to it, like a Sauvage Elixir. I think it's better. But when you start factoring price per ml and then the performance factor, because Sauvage Elixir is ridiculous. It's a 2 to 3 spray fragrance for me, you know? So yeah, it's where I stand right now. Unfortunately, this is a pass on the bottle kind of thing, because it's just, I don't see the value. It smells fantastic. Like just the early stages of this is like a 9 out of 10 scent profile. It's great. It's outstanding in my rating scale. Outstanding smell. Juicy fruit, spicy. It is warming up a little bit. It was more fresh and spicy early on because of all the citrus in the black currant. Now it's transitioning into very spice dominant, so it's warming up greatly. The ginger and pink pepper are still adding a bit of vibrance to where it's just not warm, rich, overdone spice. So there is some real nuance and a little bit of complexity for a not overly complex note breakdown. We're going to pull away from this for a little bit. We're going to let it settle because, I mean, we're only 22 minutes into the stream. So I'm going to give it a little bit of time to develop, and we'll just chop it up for a little bit. I want to see what you guys are thinking about my early thoughts, because I have some pretty bold opinions here, I would think, based on, you know, the hype behind it. Is another hype monster because it's a new version of Aventus. All right, so let's see. $68, I think, is definitely worth that. Okay, question. Between Oceania and Gin Tonic. That's a great question. That's a great question. That's a tough one, though. I really enjoy those. Probably Oceania because of the vibe that comes with it. Because even though Gin Tonic is a great, crisp, fresh scent, it doesn't quite develop and nuance the way Oceania does. And Oceania just has more of a laid back vibe to it overall. So I think that's the two deciding factors for me. I'd probably go Oceania. Great question, though. I had my time with it. He was desperate. I wanted someone to enjoy the masterpiece like I've had. Well, I appreciate that, Jad. It's going to change in the drawing. I fully anticipate it, too. That's why I said let's take a break from it, and we'll revisit it in like 20 minutes. 15, 20 minutes, we'll go back to it, see what kind of change has been made to it. A lot of black currants and understatement. So you've smelled it already then, Joe. Yeah, it's just a black currant bomb in the opening. Like, I couldn't help but think of Not Only Intense, because that's such a black currant bomb in the only opening too. Big difference in quality, but undeniable. Well, I mean, we got to let it develop here, but base notes of patchouli, pink pepper, and vetiver, I expect it to just continue with spice and become more woodsy. You got cedar wood still in the heart. It's not really all that woody right now. There, but not overdone. But it is starting to transition more into Sauvage Elixir. The opening, not so much. That's why I had to pause and say, look, I don't get it. But as you give it a few minutes, it starts getting closer and closer to it. Not Sauvage Elixir, LOL. So I would say it's more nuanced and more complex overall. It smells better than, but is it worth it more? No. Not where I'm at in the moment. Rocking St. Bart's today. A note breakdown for some kind of fragrance. I missed some part of the conversation. The elixir vibe that you get out of Creed Absolu Aventus to me smells more like Boss Bottle Elixir than it does Sauvage Elixir. So if you're saying that, that means this patchouli is going to start playing a much more prominent role, because Boss Bottled Elixir heavily patchoulied. That's which people keep tying Boss Bottled Elixir to Sauvage Elixir. That's much further from Sauvage Elixir than this is. I'm sorry, because that's a patchouli heavy scent. So I would assume, based on you saying that, I'm about to get more patchouli come in. No pineapple. Yeah, there's definitely none. Well, of course, if I'm going, but I mean, I'm not doing that, Joe. I can tell you right now, I'm not paying $500 for this fragrance. If I do, it'll be down the line somewhere at a discounter. I'm not paying retail for this. I'm not. There's a lot more I could do with $500 right now. Oh, we got a pretty good crowd. Yes, less inky on the dry down. My girlfriend said it kind of smelled like pen ink. Yeah, it was very inky at first, and it's funny that normally when you get ink, at least for me, normally when I get inkiness, I usually get a metallic smell, and it wasn't metallic at all. That's fair. Well, Joel is just being a fragrance cyclopedia right now. Thankfully, with all the black currant, it wasn't metallic. And look, I don't mind metallic, but it is refreshing that it didn't go metallic, because I don't know how that would have really worked with the Aventus DNA, because it's clear there is some Aventus DNA here, but it's starting to get further away from it. And Sauvage Elixir, they're not the same. Sauvage Elixir is linear. Yeah, this is definitely developing more, while Absolute changes from fruity, bright, and juicy to dark and. I guess scrolling down, looking for the other part of that. Oh, I don't know. I don't see the other part. Oh, here we go. And woody. After 4 to 5 hours, you get some similarities, but they're not the same. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't call them the same. That's why I was saying like 60 to 70% because of the dominance of spice in the heart. But there's clear differences. There's clear differences, but there's also clear similarities. You know, I just have to I have to look at it. You guys got to understand that the bulk of my audience is the affordable crowd, and they're going to want to hear things like that from me. What else for way less than $500 can you relate it to? So I have to be very objective when talking about this, because you have to remember, like, we got 170 in the chat right now, and I guarantee you 100 of them would never spend this money on this fragrance. And I don't blame them. I don't think I would either. $4.99 is pretty damn, it's pretty high up there. It would really have to wow me. Like the way Virtus Vanilla Oud wows me. You know, it has to floor me for $500, and I'm not being floored. Impressed, sure. Floored, no. It does smell really damn good, though. Like I said, the scent profile, I easily can give a 9 out of 10. Just the scent alone. It smells outstanding. The woods are just coming in more and more. It's so much more of a woody spice now. The fruitiness isn't completely gone. I still get a little black currant, but the citrus side of it, I can't detect citrus anymore. It doesn't have that juiciness that the opening had. Dry and slightly powdery, not as strong. 10-4. My first sprayed Absolu, I was like, wow, this is Sauvage Elixir. Second wearing, you can tell the difference. I can tell the difference already. It's the best version of the infamous Z01, in my opinion. You're right about that. It's like, it's hard to put this next to any, I mean, take away years and years past batches of Aventus. Like, we're not talking the old ridiculous pineapple, super smoky beast, fill a room on 2 spray batches. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the last 3 or 4 years of bottles that have come out. You put this next to it, and it just comes down to taste for you to tell me this doesn't smell better. It's pretty much just got to not be your thing. Because objectively, I don't see how you could put this right next to it and say this doesn't smell better. Because I do get Aventus's DNA lingering with all this added spice and woody nuance, because you don't get all of those things in Aventus. Aventus doesn't, it's not a spicy fragrance. It's not a woodsy fragrance. Usually if you get a woody nuance from Aventus, it's because you smelled a different, you know, a twist on it from someone else, basically. Couldn't tell you right now, Kyler. It's hilarious that you said that. So like, when I gave my wife a hug earlier, I was like, thoughts on the scent? Because I was wearing polo blue, and she's like, it smells nice. I was like, so not a panty dropper? Like, if I just get it smells nice, that's what I tell, so not a panty dropper. I'll be sure to pass that info along. No. Without the strong aroma chemical base makes people sneeze and complain. That's fair. Like I said, I get the tie-in. I don't want to make it all about that relation, but it's the elephant in the room and had to be addressed right away. Clear similarity, clear relation, but not the same fragrance. Superior fragrance. This is a superior fragrance, this Sauvage Elixir. Like I said, this is so much more wearable. The quality does smell a bit higher, but it's not drastic to me. I don't sit here and think, oh, wow, per ml, I smell a huge difference. I totally get why they priced it this way. Because having been a part of creating with high-level raw materials, it's not price per ml that it didn't cost them $500. Like they're making quite the profit. Yeah, their cost of materials are higher because they're using high quality stuff, but it's not absurdly high to this point because they have bottle molds that they've had forever. Like that 75 ml bottle mold, that's their old 75 ml bottle mold. See what I'm saying? It's not like the new $100,000 bottle mold, and like their cost of goods it's not $3 a bottle, but it's also not $2.50 a bottle either. You know what I mean? They're making some money here. I'm not redundant in my fragrance collection. That's fair. That's definitely fair. Just like a month ago. No. This is the norm. Like a very niche topic, like really, really niche topic, I might have 70 or 80 people. Like something that most people just, the vast majority aren't going to care to hear anything about. But on average, 100 to 150 for the most part. If I have somebody on side of me, usually around 200. If I have a, affordable topic or something, 200 pretty often. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised at your comment, man. I mean, I know it was meant to be flattering, but it's a little inaccurate. My man. So I thought it was $4.99, so even higher. There you go. Let's see. Hey, man, how are you wearing? Roberto Cavalli Uomo. It's good stuff. Aventus Clone's still my favorite. I think I still have to lean that way. It just really speaks to my taste. I think it's so much better than Aventus personally. While, I'm not knocking Aventus here. I love Aventus. It's just, I think Aventus Cologne suits my taste better overall, even though I love smoky fragrances. I don't know. I think the pink pepper ginger combo is really what does it for me. And that's present here. So naturally, I'm going to like this one more than regular Aventus too. It's still maintaining its freshness. There's warm spice here, but it's not completely getting away from that freshness it had early on. It's just not as juicy fruit. So I do appreciate that about it because that's kind of really helping veer it away from being too redundant to a Sauvage elixir like we were talking about. It's like the brand liquid to mention. Try a lot from the future. Something like this. I could see it going for 300. So I'm saying, and then hitting discounters being less than that, 250, 300. I could totally get it because of the lineage and everything. But I mean, I have no say in stuff like that. That's just kind of the price bracket I see myself being willing to pay for it. 250, 300. But outside of that, I've never paid over 300 for a bottle. I don't know if and when I will. I think outside of that, it's just a little too much, a little too much. But again, they're not marketing to me. Do they hope I love it and people buy it based off of my opinion? I'm sure. I review fragrances. I'm sure they're hoping. If they even know I talked about it, I'm sure they would hope for that. They would want anybody creating fragrance content to help them sell a bottle, I'm sure. But where am I sitting? Yesterday, Creed Absolu Aventus for the first time. Hell yeah. Essential Obsessions King Andy. Dan, not the man. Excellent choice. This won't be this. Yeah, see, I heard it was like a 10,000 bottle kind of thing. So that's why I'll probably never get it. That was what I heard, was like 10,000 bottles. Is that similar to what your understanding is, Joe? I know you would know better than I would. You work in a retail location, so you would know way better than I would. But that's the number I've heard is 10,000. There you go. Well, if I got a wild hair under my ass and I was going to buy a bottle at retail, of course I would buy it through you, Joe. I'm curious why Creed made that version a limited one. Why not adding that addition to the current collection and make it more affordable? Well, maybe the new ownership wants to go the direction of limited runs because it creates a demand. When you do limited runs, there's a demand that gets created. Whereas when it's just a standard release, they're like, I'll get it eventually. Or I'll wait till it hits discounters mentality like we were just talking about. That's a thing in this market. So maybe they're wanting to avoid that. And maybe they'll do another run down the line. Or maybe they'll do something different. And it'll be like, well, I didn't get Absolu Aventus, so I'm definitely getting this new one. It's a marketing thing is what it comes down to. It's just a marketing strategy. And it looks like they might be trying to exercise that based on it being a limited run. Oh yeah, well, I'm behind on the chat, so yeah, I know you heard what I would peg it at. Yeah, 250, 300 is what I think is. So I think it's one of the two. I don't think blue is going to be next. I think blue is inevitable, but it's either going to be Parfum or Elixir. Spice Bomb Parfum or Spice Bomb Elixir. I can almost guarantee that. I give it an 8 out of 10. That's fair, because just for the scent alone. Now, my overall grade would probably vary because in the first impressions, I'm only going off of scent. The wearing experience, the performance, none of that can factor in a first impression. It's just my initial thoughts on how it smells, and it's easily a 9 out of 10, just in the scent category. That black currant's not fading, and I'm here for it. I love that it's not fading. I think it's a complete pass for me. I might see if I can get my hands on a decant, but I can never see myself paying that much for one fragrance. And that's fair. And look, that's a lot of my audience, and I totally get it. Totally get it, guys. Habdan, real number one PDM that was so convenient, left out the battle. Not bitter at all. Mr. Bean, you'll be okay. Go cry in the corner, come back, and we'll finish our conversation. Shop around, get Hachivat for a great price. Yeah, you can get Hachivat for a real great price. I wasn't live at all. So out of place now. I don't know if you can get Hachivat Oud for that. No. At a discount, I haven't seen it low. It's pricey. That's super pricey. I saw that it was over $300, I think. Who had it? I want to say Fragrance Buy had a small stock of it a couple weeks back, and it was $300 something bucks. And I was like, nah, it's like $349 or something. Pass. Yeah, but I mean that's a lot of things. It's outside of our market. It's all markets. Ferragamo one was signature. Amazing love for me. That's definitely good stuff. Get a bottle around 250. I'd think about buying, but that's the thing. Nobody's going to, because apparently it is indeed the limited batch release. It'll never see that price. It'll never see that price. So it's basically you pay it or you don't get it, is what's going to happen here. It's fair. It's fair. I'm just, like I told you guys the very first time we talked about it on a live stream, this is all I really wanted. I just want to experience it. I love getting the experiences. I don't necessarily have to have it. If there's one, I've said this before and I'll say it again. If there's one thing I don't need, it's a fragrance. I kicked my desk by accident. I don't need a fragrance. I've got so many fragrances behind me, guys. It's for the love of the game, and I just love this stuff. As long as I can have the experience, I'm so thankful to have this. This is plenty. I can just spray it, sniff it, and enjoy it for myself. I don't need to go out in the world. I don't care if it ever gets a compliment. I just want to enjoy it, and I'm able to now. I believe it's 2 ml, but the woods are starting to come in more. The patchouli, it's getting darker, and I would like to attribute that to patchouli, but it doesn't have a distinctive patchouli smell. It's not creamy. It's not chocolatey. It's not overly earthy, and it's not really leafy green either. So, but it is getting a little darker and not spicy, like warm and spicy darker. So it's got to be the patchouli. A little bit of an earthy tone. It's got to be the patchouli. We'll see. This is just, I think this is the beginning of it starting to rear its head. Indeed. I blame Trograntica for prevalence of head scratching comparisons going around anymore. Well, it's not even them. It's random people doing the comparisons. With all the clones of the OG, I'm feeling an absolute fairly different direction. I do want to sample it regardless. So here's one exciting thing about this. Somebody's going to clone this. It's going to happen. And I'll get the clone, and I'll be able to compare it to the original and let you guys know my opinion on how close it is. So that's a plus. At least I have this for that. That's a plus. Because this will be cloned. I highly doubt it won't be. No. By all means, I had no idea what the hell you were doing. Do whatever you want. I had no clue what you were doing. Spoke to the Creed rep at the Creed Boutique as well as reps at Neiman Marcus, and they'll be limited. Don't know if that'll be true going forward. Each store is only getting limited bottles. The number I heard was 10,000 total. So I don't know how accurate that is. It was a while back I heard that number too. So I don't know. We'll see. I also managed to smell Absolu Aventus in store in the UK. It definitely has a Sauvage Elixir vibe to it, but more fruitiness. The performance of this wasn't amazing either. I'll pass. You can just walk in on a release day to buy it. There you go. My most expensive fragrance is Neff's. That's a beautiful fragrance. A great fragrance, but I have fragrances that I like more and cost much less. Aventus would be dope with a tobacco note and some pink pepper. Well, they definitely have some pink pepper in this and the cologne flanker. But a tobacco Aventus, that I'd be here for that. But they probably do a limited batch like they're doing with this, though. But that does sound like a good idea. I do like that idea. That damn bottle, though. It's like they're trolling the cloning community and made a cheap clone bottle of their own damn fragrance. It does look a little lazy. Like if you're going to make a limited run, could it have been something more than just, now this is in picture. I'm sure in hand, it's got a gloss to it and it's not the same type of coating. But in pictures, it looks like they just stamped that print on a Green Irish Tweed bottle, which I do see a little bit of gloss even in the picture. So I'm sure it's not the same coating. But at a glance, you would think, oh, it's just a Green Irish Tweed bottle. You know, so I get where you're coming from. You would think they would have did something a bit more special. So look, it even says limited edition right here, which I totally did not see. I wouldn't call it a smoky, citrusy scent. I really don't get any smoke. I never at any point got anything really smoky. I think that's more of an assumption. You put your name down on the list and hope you'll be allocated a bottle. Well, if that ever becomes a thing, we'll compare it and see. What's up, Nick? Wearing Dylan Blue. You can't go wrong there. Spent $76 on a 5 mil. Wow. Damn. So we'll have to do that at the end. We're not really doing Q&A right now. We're letting this develop. We're very topic specific right now with this Absolu Aventus, my man. So if you don't mind, in about 10 minutes, type it again because I'm going to forget. But type it again in 10 minutes. Hold your question for me. I want to answer it for you. But we're letting this develop, and we're just kind of going through the motions here. Because probably the last 10 minutes, I'll just any random questions anybody had wanted to ask or anything. Because I'm just kind of going through the motions of letting this develop. Granted, it's in a 1 hour period. It's not going to be the whole story here. It's just basically the opening and heart of the fragrance. But some of the base is starting to come out, and that's what I was hoping for. Anywhere from 2,000 to 400 4-ounce bottles. Crazy with that available now. I will no longer like Sauvage Elixir. Why? Why not? See, I don't get the whole thing with Apex being tied to Sauvage Elixir. That is a very, very green tobacco fragrance. It's full of greens, earthy and smoky. Like that isn't. Do they both have spices and woods? Yeah, but that's it. Apex is quite different. It's so much more developed and nuanced, and it's more of an earthy green than a woody spicy. So I've never understood that comparison. I've never understood that. And that's just the eau de parfum. We start talking the parfum where the fruits come into play more. It changes even more. So. Yeah, that black currant's not going anywhere. Where I'm standing right now, I don't think so. I don't think so. For as much as I love the way it smells, like I said, I give it a 9 out of 10 for this first impressions on the scent alone. I don't see myself dropping 500 plus on it. I just don't. I just can't see it. In all seriousness, that Elixir called a reformulation last year. New bottles are not 24-hour nuke mode. Just like 10 hours. Well, yeah, I mean, 10 hours is ridiculous. That's still ridiculous, you know? Spencer's in the house. Wearing Dior Lucky. What about Bleu de Chanel Parfum? What about it? I don't understand the question. What about it? In case people get confused. Let's see. Ross, if you only get one, would you get? I've never tried the latter, so I really don't know. I guess I would have to say Absolu Aventus because I really don't know. Yeah, I'm just on the latter stages of it right now. In the opening, just a quick recap. It's a black currant juicy fruit bomb at the top. All the citrus. It's bergamot and grapefruit with black currant, and I get ginger, a load of black currant, very inky, dark fruity, but the citrus really adds a juiciness to it. Then it starts to become all about spice. And then now the wood nuance is starting to come in. We got Haitian vetiver and cedar wood, so it's gotten much woodier. And I am getting a little bit of a dark, slightly earthy nuance, which I'm assuming is the patchouli. I don't distinctively get pink pepper, even though it's in the base. It's not jumping out at me, but I am getting a darker, earthy nuance. The fruitiness isn't completely gone, but it's in the back seat now. It's not driving the car anymore. Now it's in the back seat. And it's not super cinnamon. It was super cinnamon at one point, where it's just like a combo, just a spice, just a generic spice at this point. Like it's not distinctively cinnamon. It's not distinctively cardamom. It's not just loads of ginger. It's good though. It's very good. Like I said, 9 out of 10 for the scent profile. I think it smells great. And then like I was telling them earlier, I give it like a 60 to 70% relation to Sauvage Elixir. It's clearly some similarity, but it's not the same fragrance. Definitely not. Sauvage Elixir is pretty linear and straightforward and doesn't really change much. This is developing. In a short amount of time, this is developing. Eros Flame, excellent choice. That is a lot for 1 ounce, yeah. Yeah, I like to switch my scents up. 6 to 8 hours is good for me with anything and everything. I don't need more. 8 is unnecessary for me personally. Always has been. I've always called it my wheelhouse, 6 to 8 hours. Nick, behave. This isn't Joey's channel. It's not a free-for-all. We're talking fragrance. Jesus Christ. Be nice to Jad. Jad's a good dude. You pick on Jad when he's on screen, not when he's in the chat. Jad, I get it. Everybody likes to pick with Jad. Limited edition. Didn't know that price is crazy. Hey, it's my first live scent of the day. St. Lee S1804 from Perfume Parlor. I've never tried that. Zeus. Excellent name. I've never tried anything from Perfume Parlor, actually. I'm also going to make a mint off the clone. I don't think he meant mint. Put in a good word for you. XX20R. So what do you think about that one? Because I think teal's actually better. Very curious what you think. 180 plus in the chat, 135 likes. Well, I'll be damned. I haven't checked in a while. 148 likes. Shit. I appreciate you guys. So we'll run the pocket. See, look at y'all going at each other. Jesus, y'all be nice, boys. I know y'all are just playing. So everyone today, Missoni Parfum Pour Homme, but date night tonight went for one of your favorites from the Y line, Y Live. That's so underappreciated. It's Y plus Invictus, basically, is what the scent profile is. I love how the black currant's not fading. It maintains that initial opening's character while it develops. This is really good. I gotta say, they did good. They did really good. I'm impressed. It smells really good. It comes down to the development for me, the nuance. You expect the quality, so that's not like a surprise or anything. It's Creed fragrance. I expect quality here. It's the development for me, I think, is the most impressive side of it. When the time comes. Picked up Plum Explosion from Essential Obsessions. Josh is a great dude. Jesus Christ. That's some good stuff, right? Good to see you, James. He might. Rick buys a lot of fragrances, man. So I want patchouli. I have a huge bush in my garden. Deep dark chocolate, green, rich. Rub those leaves on my skin. So you have patchouli in your garden. That's pretty damn badass, actually. So the only one I know of, because I can do the quick questions. The only one I know of is Insurrection Pure Sport. I'm sure there's others from other companies. I just haven't tried them. That makes sense, actually, because my wife does like Aventus cologne more than Aventus. She likes Aventus too, though, admittedly. I wouldn't sit here and call this sweeter than Aventus because you get so much more fruitiness from pineapple. You get that pineapple gives you a little bit of sweetness from regular Aventus, whereas here, blackcurrant's not a sweet fruit smell, and that's the only thing that's really all that sweet. Pink pepper could give you a little bit of sweetness here, but I'm not picking up any. Not to me. I don't think it's a sweeter smell. I don't think so. I don't know if anybody else has gotten that from it, but ooh, I really want to try that. I haven't tried that yet. I'm going to get a bottle at some point. The rep at Nordstrom was told to wear white gloves when he was showing me the bottle. It's glossy black, and the box is similar to Raj's with Olivia Creed's signature on the top. Noted. So Dillard's is releasing it November 1st. I do know that. I'm not sure about the other places. I believe for Joe, I think it's November 1st for them too, Bloomingdale's. Joe, I mean, you'd be able to answer that better than me. You work there. But I believe it's November 1st, like pretty much everywhere. And Joe Anthony is indeed going to be able to sell anybody a bottle. Definitely check out Joe Anthony. I don't have your business card handy like I did in my other, where I lived in Colorado, Joe. I don't know where it's at because I would show it. But Bloomingdale's, just hit up Joe Anthony, an unaverage Joe, anywhere on social media, and he'll get you taken care of. But I'll wait for the price to come down on decants. Yeah, it's worth an experience. I'm so glad to have the experience. So last thing I'll say on it, and then we just chop it up the rest of the time. Just a quick recap. Super juicy and fruity at the top because the citrus really adds that presence, that juicy presence to the super dose of blackcurrant that the opening is. It's super inky without being metallic. A nice hit of ginger that gives this fresh, spicy, and kind of brightness to the scent. Then it starts to get taken over by spice. A lot of cinnamon at first. Then it's kind of just a spicy accord as it develops, but the woods start to come in because you do have cedar in the heart. And it's just a woody smell. It's not distinctively cedar. It's not distinctively the Haitian vetiver. It's just a dense, woody smell. And then now I'm at the point to where the blackcurrant is still very noticeable, but it's not the star player anymore. It's kind of working hand in hand with the spice. And there's a light, earthy tone that's coming out little by little. It hasn't come out really much anymore in the last 10 minutes from the last time I mentioned it. But that's got to be the patchouli. I have a feeling we're going to get more and more patchouli as it settles in. I would say a few hours in, it's probably going to be a lot of patchouli and a soft wood. Might be a dense wood. I don't know, but I have a feeling the patchouli is going to kind of take over. I think the scent profile alone is a 9 out of 10. It smells great. And again, I go back to 60 to 70% is the percentage I put on the relation to Sauvage Elixir, where there's obvious relation, obvious similarities, but obvious differences too. So completely redundant? No. Some redundancy? Yeah, there's a little bit. There's definitely a little bit, but there's a lot more nuance to this phrase. Way more nuance and better quality. And it's not overly like punch you in the face kind of power either. So RXL got $500 burning his pocket. So I don't know if you were here when they mentioned you'll probably buy a bottle, Rick. That's hilarious. Might have to hit up Joe for that. So yeah, there you go. So you'll be one of the few in the proud. It is a limited run. My expectation was high. Sprayed and smelled on the skin today. To be honest, not worth $5.45 at retail for a 2.5 ounce. Does smell good though. Was expecting to be a bit more potent than the original. It wasn't for me. It wasn't about. I wasn't expecting them to make a beast. I was expecting them to make a richer smell. And I think they definitely did that. It is richer, but it's not going to knock anybody's socks off like Sauvage Elixir will. It's not that kind of performance. I never for a moment thought it was going to be something like that. Because it is thick. It's a thick aroma. They definitely accomplished that. Citra Poisé from Neil. Excellent choice. Like EQ always says, where the heck are you going that you need a fragrance to last 12 plus hours? He's got a point. He's got a point. Spice Bomb Infrared EDP, my favorite designer release of the year. Dakota, I'm doing well. hit up on Average Joe if you want a bottle of Absolu Aventus. That's exactly who I would recommend, you guys. Like I said, hit up an Unaverage Joe somewhere on social media. I don't have his business card handy, Joe Anthony, and he can get you a bottle. It'll be releasing at right around the same time or on the same day as everywhere else it's releasing. And you can help support a friend of the channel, a friend of the community, and a fellow content creator that we here on this channel all know and love. And if you're going to buy a bottle anyway, why not let my friend and yours make a small commission? You know, why the hell not? Jesus Christ. Odor Fragrantica. You would definitely know either Lattafa or Moffat. Somebody's going to clone it. That's going to happen. I highly doubt it. They're going to buy a bottle and they're going to run it through a reverse engineering machine. The Dua method, the Dua and Alexandria method, as I like to call it, because that's what the hell they do. They literally advertise it on Facebook. Hani and Massam, they'll make a post showing just got this, about to work on this, and they show the bottle. Like about to run this through the machine and make some clones. Jesus Christ. I'm sure the brands hate you guys. Every time I see those posts from them, I'm like, God, these brands hate your guts. They must. Because it's like rubbing it in their face. Like, I'm going to clone your fragrance. Why I sell myself? So there's more and more people enjoying it. More and more people are giving it a chance. Okay. So I just wasn't familiar with the term. Have TL2 is pretty good to me. I like it. It's like a saltier, more musky type of watery, salty, musky take on why. Myself, I could barely smell it just an hour after I sprayed it, but the weakness of its lingering going on 5 hours now. So a lot of people are wearing why I sell myself in this chat today. Just got in. Is it good? So just scroll back a little bit. I didn't recap like 6 times. Just scroll back a little bit, Sean. I literally recapped like 3-4 minutes ago, maybe 5 minutes ago. I recapped a bunch of times. And then you spray, just sniff the atomizer. Basic as hell. And see, there's a lot of people falling on both sides of the fence for that one. It's polarizing. It's nice. My wife really enjoys it. It was her favorite of that haul. And I was surprised. I said, go figure. Go figure. That's the one you like the most. You know, honestly, wanted EDP. I haven't done a full wearing yet, but that was the least impressive. Like I really wanted, no pun intended, wanted to like that one. It's the least impressive. It was the most disappointing fragrance in the video. There's Stetson Spirit. Okay. Finally figured out what LA Knight looks like. He looks like those cheap $20 costumes that come with. I totally get it. Like a cheap cool guy costume. I totally get it. The glasses don't help the case. The vests with the t-shirt underneath, like either wear the vest or wear the t-shirt, don't wear both. I totally get where you're coming from. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. There's other wrestling fans that are watching this right now laughing and or are offended. Don't talk about LA Knight like that. That's hilarious. So it's in the works. It's not definitive yet, but potentially Friday, me, Dedrick, and Black might, on the Sports Desk podcast, we might do a preview fantasy booking and so on for Crown Jewel on the Sports Desk podcast YouTube channel this Friday. It's not definite yet. I'll know in the next day or two, but we might be doing a wrestling episode, me, Dedrick, and Black. So we'll see. Speaking of wrestling. Now, see, Isola Blue, that's my jam. That's one that would command the money from me. Yes, I got a bottle sent to me. But if I had tried it, let's say I didn't have both versions of Oligarch, and I tried Isola Blue, I'd be like, son of a bitch, I'm going to have to buy it. That's what would happen because it's that good to me. It's the only fragrance I've ever given a 10. It's, for me, the perfect fragrance for my taste. It's the only fragrance I've ever given a 10 in an individual review before. So I have all 3 iterations it's ever been, Oligarch, EDP, Parfum, and Isola Blue. But let's say I had none of them and just tried it. That's one that would get the money from me. That's the rare, like, holy crap, I need this fragrance. This is me in a bottle kind of thing. That's the ones that could command that kind of price point from. It's got to do that. Don't care too much about CIs, more the blend of their fragrance and quality bring to the scent. That's fair. We think will be the novelties in the world, beauty world 20. Oh, I have no idea. I'm not the person to ask that question. I have no idea. I don't have an answer for you, my man. I apologize. So let me scroll down. Sahaj Elixir. What's going on, Cliffy? Good to see you. Newt's in the house. Slap the like button and I'll rewatch. I appreciate you, Newt. Yeah, because we're going to be shutting it down here in just a little bit. Try to get caught up with you guys. I don't know just how far behind I am. I bit the bullet and bought 2 PDMs after you vid with Justin. Layton and Sadley. That's 2 good ones. Looking forward to getting them in. Be real, this release is marketed for celebs and people with big bag, people who don't care about 500 at all, people stupid to look for better scents for less money. So that's the thing. They're not marketing to us, guys. They're not marketing to the average person that, you know, especially the hobbyist. Yeah, they're not intentionally marketing to us, but a lot of the hobbyists are going to have it for their collection. Those that are really, really collecting, especially if you're a fan of Creed, you're going to be all over that. Or if you're just like Aventus is your thing, you're absolutely going to like the Creed groups and stuff like that. A lot of those guys are going to be ones to get bottles because it's their thing. I totally get that. But majority of people are just looking to get some variety in their wardrobe and have a couple handfuls of fragrances that never get this, never even consider it, don't even care to smell it. You know, that's the average consumer. They're not marketing to the average consumer because it's a luxury good. It's a luxury brand. They're definitely not marketing to the masses. So they know what they're doing. Polo Ultra Blue. Another Polo Blue option. I'm wearing the Parfum myself. A decan of Creed Absolute. Head over to Fragrance Sample Shop. It's a little pricey. I warn you. I bet it is. You paid $76 for 5 ml. That's pricey. I heard one of the recaps. I appreciate that, Sean. Thank you, man. Thank you. Can't wait to see which clone house gets their hands on it first. I think it'll be a race because whoever gets it first is going to sell more product first because it is good. It's good. Whoever clones it, they're going to sell some bottles. It's good. It is good. It just, let's see how close they get. That's what I'm going to be interested in because I have more than enough to compare the original versus whatever clones come out. So we'll see. The fragrance didn't have to worry about clones. If anything, they might raise their prices if they didn't have to worry about clone houses. Because then be like, I got you anyway. That might be how they would do it. It might work in our favor for these prices, actually. But for the most part, they really don't care about. Outside of Estee Lauder. Estee Lauder don't play. Ask Lattafa. Estee Lauder ain't playing. Ooh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. It's my favorite designer release of the year. It's the one for me. So that video is, I'm not even bother opening it yet, but that video is going to come out on the 27th. Tuesday, Wednesday, which is Friday, I believe. So Friday, that video is coming out. So I'm not going to even open the package till Thursday. I'll film the video Thursday. It'll come out Friday because I got a fragrance buy video to do anyway. They have a certain sale going on. I'm doing a collaboration video with them. So I'm going to use my haul as the bulk of the video. We'll talk about whatever's going on at the beginning, as we normally do. And then we'll just dive into Black Gold, and I got Midnight Gold, and I got a few other. I got some Fragrance World fragrances. We got a few things in there. Commandante from Zaharoff, really known by the FragCom, which is like 1% of all fragrance buyers. Yes, the online fragrance community is a fraction of the market, a fraction. That I want to try. Absolutely, I want to try that. We talked about it on one live stream, and the notes looked really good. I bet it's awesome. I bet it is good. Ralph Lauren's done, aside from Polo Red Parfum, it wasn't a bad release. It's just not enough Polo Red in it. It smells good. I know Randy hates it, but I like Polo Red Parfum. I just think it could have been better. It could have smelled more like Polo Red. But for the most part, their last couple of releases have been really good. So I have high hopes for Polo Green Oud. I mean, it's not called Polo Green Oud, but it's in the green line. So Polo Oud. I have a feeling I'm going to really like that. The $100 question, based on your preference, Isola Blue or easily Isola Blue? Isola Blue is one of my absolute favorite fragrances. It's one of my top five. And it's my favorite Raja Parfums fragrance. So spoiler for when we do Thursday's live stream, that's my number one. Let's see who remembers when that, because me and Justin are doing a battle ranking 7 random. We did the Parfums de Marly 7 on his channel, but he picked the 7 for us to rank. It's free for all. We're picking our favorite 7. His 7 is going to be different from my 7. We're doing that Thursday here on this channel, but spoiler alert, Isola Blue is my number one. That's my favorite Raja Parfums fragrance. But yeah, I would absolutely, I love Oceania, but Isola Blue just speaks to my taste. If there's such a thing as one of those few fragrances I could get away with if I only had like a handful, that's one of them. Because that's one I definitely could live with. If I had to just have one fragrance, like whatever reason I could only have one, that's one that would be in the running because it just speaks to me and my taste. I would never get sick of that. I don't think I could ever get sick of that scent. There you go. Oh, that's funny. He accepted. Yeah, I turned it down. If it's the same event, I'm not going. Just not going to work out. But I know which event it is. Yeah, more power to him. I hope he has a good time. Yeah, that's been in the works. That was a couple of months ago we got asked about that. Myself is juvenile. Good if you're a 15-year-old. Solo Benoit 2K. It's a bold statement from that profile name. It seems like a 15-year-old profile name. Just being real with you, throwing it right back, man. YSL does typically market to the younger fellas. Not necessarily 15-year-olds, but late teens to their 20s. That's typically the demographic they're marketing towards, because that's more of who's out in the world, going to clubs, going out, dating and mingling and all these different things, college. That's kind of their target demographic for most of their, those mid-level designer releases, not necessarily the private blend stuff. Uh-oh, you're super late, Boz. Super late, but that's okay. We can start now, guys. We're an hour and 8 minutes. We got to start over. Boz just got here. Good to see you, Boz. We're about to shut it down. Thanks for reading my ridiculous comments. Nice to hang out. It was good to see you, Jad. Been a little while since you've been over here. Scent of the day, scent of the night, signature rosé. Excellent choice, Boz. It'll be either Hanny or Masam. It's going to be one of the two. Excited to get my samples in. Haven't gotten a notification the package was sent yet, but do you think it's worth ordering some decants, as you said in the last stream? Ordering some decants of what? Because you already made an order with Zaharoff for some samples. Oh, you mean some to put them into atomizers? I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, you'll still get the experience. You just can't atomize them because they're dabber style. That's the only thing I can't stand about the samples. They're dabbers. But you still get to experience them. To make a huge difference. Yes and no. Yes and no. Oh, that's hilarious. Y'all are still on that. That's been explained once, and don't believe everything you see on the internet. I'm not going to keep revisiting that bullshit. That's hilarious. So context was provided. Believe it or not, I don't care what anybody thinks. That's fine. But what you did earn yourself was bye-bye. So thank you for coming. New member, Neil, what level did you get? TLTG Hall of Fame. So all right, so you're in for the niche. So this month, so it's gonna be the last Sunday of the month. It's gonna be 100 ml of Nishane Hachivat. No, not Hachivat. It's Wulong Cha. Sorry, Wulong Cha is what won the vote. Because I put out some options and you guys vote on it, and that's what's going to be the main prize giveaway for the tier level you signed up for. The other 3, you're still eligible 3 other spins too. The first prize for the $9.99 and above tier is what won for that? What the hell won for that? trying to remember. Let me go look. It'll just be easier if I go look. And then we'll be shutting it down here in just a minute. So Oolong Cha, the most wanted parfum, 100 ml. And then second prize, I have a mystery bottle that I'm going to be giving. And third prize is a mystery box with different samples and decants, which I have fun building that. I put a ton of stuff in those. So you'll be eligible for 4 spins total at the tier you're at. So welcome. I'm sure you'll see a bunch of custom emojis coming up in the chat and all that good stuff. Everybody's usually pretty good about hitting those up. Yeah, I see it going off over here on the left side. Let me scroll down. Neil, I appreciate you, my man. Thank you very much and welcome. I couldn't even justify spending $250 to $300, let alone $550. Totally understand. Palace of Themes due on Thursday. Hope you enjoy it, Boz. I hope you enjoy it. That's one of my wife's personal favorites. Justin likes to wear that one a lot too. Because we only have a 30 ml bottle, I don't spray it myself. Since she enjoys it so much, I'd let her spray it, you know. Britannia and Amber Oud. Amber Oud's amazing. Diaghilev got all 3 ordered after trying samples. There was must buy. Well, you had some money to spend, my man. That's an expensive order. Britannia is the only one I haven't tried. I have Amber Oud and Diaghilev. Amber Oud's my favorite oud rose fragrance. My absolute favorite oud rose fragrance. Sounds like you've experienced them and they were must buys for you though. So enjoy, my man. That's a pricey haul. That's fair. Lamal Elixir, excellent choice. Trying to hear it's good. As far as Baby Cat clones go, I haven't even heard of that one. Let's get them likes, keep them going. I mean, we'll hang out for a few more minutes. I mean, I'm still a little behind. But Dolce & Gabbana, the one oldie but a goodie. I agree. It'll never be old. The only creed I've considered buying is Viking. Viking used to be my favorite. Now I think it's been edged out by Aventus Cologne, but it's still my second favorite. I like Viking more than regular Aventus, but once I got Aventus Cologne, I was like, I like this a little bit more. Just a little bit. But Viking's great. It's underappreciated. Well, when you smell other versions of La Nuit de l'Homme, it does seem like the more youthful one, even though it's powdery. But I mean, still, even at 15, I mean, that's not even, I wouldn't even recommend anything besides Y. The Y line to a 15-year-old personally. Like I'm thinking much more mass appealing for a 15-year-old. So like I could see myself going that route, but it's an orange blossom scent, a strange orange blossom, but orange blossom. I can't really see too many 15-year-olds wanting YSL myself personally. But then again, I'm not a current day 15-year-old. I think back to when I was 15. I would think much more of a blue fragrance for a 15-year-old, but you know, everybody likes what they likes. Everybody likes what they like. At some point, I want to see how close to Ani it really is. Gentleman Society is fantastic. Very dense, woodsy, a little resinous. I just finally got a bottle. I had a decant when it first came out at the beginning of the year. Randy had sent me. Not through all of them. We went through the Thameen Discovery set. We went through some of the bottles he sent. I still need to do those Bond number 9 bonbons. I got like 9 of them. I want to do a live stream with those bonbon samples. Oh, don't tell me. Closing my eyes. Let me click a different comment because my bottles comes in tomorrow, and that's Friday's live stream. Yeah, so I don't want to know. I'm going in blind. I appreciate you. I don't want to know what you think. I haven't seen anybody's opinion on it, and I want to keep it that way. Most wanted parfum. Oh, so I'm way behind. Yeah, I'm apparently way behind. Let me scroll. Oh, no, not too far. Okay. I got to the bottom pretty quick. Everybody hitting all the custom emojis. I wish the custom emojis would show up on StreamYard because I know they show up on the YouTube chat. But when I pin them, it just says the name of the emojis. When I get the package in, might end up getting addicted to niche scents and start ordering samples from. Well, that's the thing. It's its own rabbit hole when it comes to the luxury perfumes. It's its own rabbit hole, man, because I swore 10 ways to Sunday that I would never do it. And once I did, started getting niche fragrances. If you really love the experiences, you want to have the experiences, even if it's just a sample, because I think that's all that's ever going to happen with this for me is this sample. It's very woodsy at this point, Very woodsy. Herbapora for the Blur. Good to see the Blur. So my Argos Hull as Frag by just restocked. I got Adonis, Port Ohm, Triumph, and Baccio. Danye was sold out too fast. Yeah, Danye sold out quick. I saw this. I saw the restock. Yeah, Adonis is amazing. In the States, yes. Apparently, Fragrance World, I think it's Fragrance World, Jack of Clubs is supposed to be really good. I haven't tried it. It's a clone of it. Because in Europe, you can get Blue Electric pretty easily. Here in the States, it's next to impossible to find. There was a time, it's just not anymore. So it's one of those things where you'd have to get it from overseas, or you could go the route of Jack of Clubs, is my understanding. I'm sure like Joel and a bunch of other people that have tried it here in the chat can weigh in, because I haven't tried it, but I've heard great things about it. Oh, the other one's kick ass. Tommy and Versace Mano Fresh make great young guy fragrances, in my opinion, especially Versace Mano Fresh. That's like my main recommendation to a 15-year-old. If you're anywhere from 14 to 17, that's going to be the first thing I recommend to you. I think it's a phenomenal spot to start. I have most of the I have Insurrection 2 Pure, I have the Le Parfum, I have the Extreme, and I have Sport. I definitely enjoy them. Brioni Essential back in stock on Fragrance Buy. I need to throw that one in the rotation. I have EDP right here. Got bumped last week because of some new stuff that came in, but it's going to make its way in the rotation this week. Some of them do. Last good amount of time, but the vanilla that kicks in on I Need hits harder and lasts longer. Amnesia for making sense. Okay, that's fair. Adonis is still king. I could see why Adonis is most people's favorites. It's just hard for me to let Triumph of Bacchus get bumped from its pedestal, but Adonis is my number 2. Absolutely my number 2 from the house. Put that right there. So we're about to shut it down. Yeah, we're at the bottom. Ralph's Cup Elixir. Much more. Yeah, it's a much dressier occasion fragrance. The iris is very earthy. Surprising. It's great. Underappreciated release. Got Citrine and Port Ohm being delivered today. Dan, not the man. I hope you appreciate it. And we're going to end on Daryl. Velvet Pomegranate Banana Republic. Oh, we'll end on my man right after. But I haven't tried that one. But we'll end. Anna, good to see you. We're actually shutting it down, unfortunately. It's good to see you, though. But hey, bro, sin of the day. Maui Affection. Just a great reflection, man. Clone was good to see you, my guy. Hope you're enjoying those fragrances. And yeah, I appreciate all of you coming hang out with me. We had a good crowd to check it out. Is it a must buy? That's for you to decide. It's not a must buy for me, even though I think it's a 9 out of 10 just in the scent profile category. It smells incredible. It is continuing to slightly nuance. Hasn't changed much in a while. It's pretty much been stuck on lightly black currant, fruity, spicy. It's getting even more woodsy, and there's a light earthy tone, but it's kind of stuck in that realm right now. It hasn't really changed in a while. But it does smell really good. I don't see myself spending $545 on it. Absolutely sample first if you can. Nothing safe about this blind buy unless you just got the scratch to toss around. Go for it. If I had $20 million sitting in the bank, I'd just buy the damn thing too. But to each their own. I do really like the way it smells. I don't see myself grabbing a bottle. If anybody happens to clone it, which I think they will, I'll definitely compare it to the original. I will put this sample to use for that because I know some of you will be asking about that when they start making them. So I'll do my due diligence to try to get my hands on some of them, and we'll check them out together. So make sure to like the stream before you leave. Check out today's video, which was a bunch of recommendations, votes, and decisions all made by people on Instagram. So it's best fall fragrances ever, according to everybody on Instagram. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Have a good one.